one.
Hello and welcome to Money Matters. I'm Sarah Peterson here with Dean Greenberg of Greenberg Financial Group. How are you today?
Another week, another show. Good to see you again.
I love it. Always ready for the challenge, aren't you?
You're ready for the challenge.
That is actually very true. Okay, today we're going to talk about, we're always talking about retirement, but let's talk about how do you even know when it's a good time to retire? It's not like
when or
somebody
how you could retire, or can you retire?
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing. A lot of people have been coming to us lately and saying, can you tell me if I can retire, when I can retire? And I said, absolutely. I said, but it all starts from the other side. What is your lifestyle? What do you want out of retirement? Those things are important.
It's like a big fat looking glass, right?
Right.
Look at yourself. What do you enjoy doing? How do you want to spend your time if you had all the choices?
And those are part of getting to know someone and building a relationship. So that's the first thing what we do. We sit and we talk with people, find out, what does it look like? What do you think it looks like? And then we can just decide, are you able to retire now? When you can retire? Or what do you have to do to retire when you want to get there?
But let's back it up. If I'm 64 and a half and I want to retire at 65, that should not be my first conversation with you. It needs to happen sooner. You can't.
But what if that is? What if you're 64 and you want to retire? Absolutely, you got to start sometime. Tomorrow is the best time to start right away.
Right away.
Or yesterday or today.
Exactly.
But if you're saying it today, then it's tomorrow. You call and get a plan. But here's the thing. Someone's 64. Let's go down that aisle. I know you're not 64, but you said it. But, okay, you come and you say, I'm looking to retire next year. I said, okay. Why do you want to retire? Well, I want to do this, this, and this. Okay, great. Let's talk about it, because retirement isn't about your wealth. It's a reflection of your lifestyle. So let's talk about what you like to do, what you want to do, and how you picture it. Say, okay, now you go back to how much money they have. Now you take that income out and you replace it with the income they'll be getting either through Social Security, pensions, or investments. If that income gap isn't there, like say they need $100,000 to do the things they want to do, and you can't create $100,000, then I straight up tell them, you have to wait. Or you have to invest it in this or that to be able to wait 3 or 4 years in order to get your Social Security, and at that time you can do it. Or somebody who's done a great job, like we had somebody the other day, and they just had a great job. They've been saving their money, doing the things they want to do. Not the fact they stopped doing stuff, but they were a little bit more value-oriented and frugal. And I said, you could have stopped working 2 years ago if you wanted. So they said, so at 66 and a half, when I turn 66 and a half, I can stop work. I said, absolutely. And how much money? I live on 50 grand a year now. I said, I'll get you 80 grand a year. And it's not even hurting what you get, because you get Social Security, and we were able to get income and dividends for you to do it. He said, well, that sounds great. And the idea is you have to get to know what their lifestyle is, where they want to be. And when you do retire, you will spend more money over the first 10 to 15 years than you will after that. And I call that evidenced investing. Because if you look at what's gone on in life, the markets, things like that, there's predictable things that you can see within an assumption of percentages. And if you go on those, and you know things change, because the things that hurt it, obviously, is health when you do it, you're able to put together a plan where pretty much confidence is going to work, as long as they stick to the plan.
That being said, how much of the decision is emotional? You know, you might say, Sarah, you have plenty of money to retire next year, but I might not be emotionally ready. There's a big component of that.
Well, I understand that. I mean, people always ask, when am I going to retire?
Or I'm emotionally ready
retire.
and not financially ready.
Right. But if you're financially ready but not emotionally ready, you're in a good place.
Yeah.
Because you keep putting money away. But are you emotionally not ready because you don't think you're financially ready? That's the other thing. A lot of people don't ever think they have enough money and they're going to run out. And we can show them that they're not going to run out of money. I can show them they can spend more money than they're spending and not run out of money. Even if the markets go down and up, you can protect yourself. You can do things to set up a portfolio to do it. It's not about how much wealth you have, it's how much money you're going to spend. What kind of lifestyle? If you've been frugal to the time you retire, and all of a sudden you want to spend money like you're making $1 million a year, it ain't going to happen. But if you've been frugal your whole year and save money, I could get you to spend a little bit more money than you're doing and be able to enjoy your retirement that you've been looking forward to. But you have to tell me what you want out of it. You got to tell me all those things so we can kind of look at what the expenses are going to be. And
not all debt is bad debt, right? So also helping people to understand that if mortgage rates are good, it's good to maybe keep the mortgage on your house so that you can use that money to make more money in the markets. And well, unless you just bought something recently, your mortgage rate's pretty darn good. Oh, yeah. Okay? No, right, exactly. You can do some other things. It's not even about making money in the market and stuff, but some people, they want to pay off the house. I get it. I used to not get it when I was 30 or 40. I get it. There's something to say about stress-free situation. My house is paid for, I never have to worry about anything, right? Great. I don't care economically if it makes sense. But if you're going to pay off your house and you have no more money to do things, that doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. So it's a balance. Again, we go back to evidence investing. I know lifestyle patterns. I know patterns of people. It's kind of a psychology that goes along with planning for their retirement, which a lot of people don't do. They just are numbers. I'm not just about numbers. I'm about realistic, common sense, what you're going to do. I can tell from somebody by what their habits have been up to, what they're going to spend going forward. You're like a financial therapist. Okay. Interesting. I never thought of it that way, but you know, absolutely. If you really get to, first of all, I want to get to know people because I want to be able to help them. That's what I've always done. I've always wanted to be there to help people. Listen, that's what we're all about today, and we're going to be able to help the viewers by letting them give us a call. That phone number is 844-544-4909. Complimentary portfolio analysis that other financial advisors charge thousands of dollars for. Who wouldn't want to give Dean a call because he's amazing, he's awesome, and obviously he cares about what he does. But if you are on the right road to retirement, great. If you're not, don't you want to know it? You can scan that QR code if it's easier for you. It'll bring you right to us. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll come back and talk more about, are you ready for retirement? And let's figure that out now.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Hello and welcome back to Money Matters. I'm Sarah Peterson here with Dean Greenberg of Greenberg Financial Group. And before the break, we were talking about, finding out, am I ready to retire? Do I have enough money? And when is a good time? How do I get to any of these places? Well, the only way you're going to know is if you sit down and you plan. That's it. You got to see where you're at. You got to project what your income is going to be. You got to project what your wealth is going to be, how much you have in investments that can be used for income. Any outside investments, do you have real estate income? Do you have other income? That's all it is. Retirement basically is we accumulate wealth while we're working. What we hope to do is turn that wealth, plus what other things that we get like pensions or Social Security, into an income machine.
that income is what we want to live off of. Nobody really wants to live off their capital unless it's an emergency. Nobody just wants to live off Social Security unless that's all you've done. If you don't plan, that's what you're going to end up with. And the whole idea is understand who you are, what you want to do, and how you want to live out the rest of your life in retirement. There's so many happy people in retirement because they've lived within their means. Somebody comes to us with $2 or $3 million, they don't even think they're wealthy until we start explaining to them how much money they can get on income and what they're getting, and they go, that's almost double what I've been making now. I go, exactly. You've done the right things all these years. You're not going to outlive your money. You're going to be able to enjoy what you're doing because you've done the right things all along.
It's so great to be able to provide people with that peace of mind. I've worked so hard this many years, and now I can actually do the things I want to do within my means. And that's the amazing thing, is that so many people are able to get themselves there, but there is that fear factor that we've talked about of, I don't know if I want to have this conversation. And the greatest part about what you do is that you can let them know, hey, we can make this happen for you.
Right, and then we're not just looking at that part too, the tax situation, all right? You retire and you got a lot of money into one thing, but you don't have to take it out, you have to do things, but you don't have to pay taxes. You're gonna have an RMD at some time, you're gonna have some other things. We gotta look at your tax situation. How are we gonna mitigate those taxes? That's very important on affecting your Social Security and also affecting your Medicare, and also affecting your tax brackets. The more, you start moving up in tax brackets, everything else costs you more. So what we try to do is figure out ways to mitigate that at the different levels you are. Do you take out money this year? Do you push it to next year? How do we do the taxes? Do we set up some estate plans? Could you start gifting money if you're in that position? How to gift it so there's just everything we talk about.
It's so great. It's kind of a one-stop shop for your finances. But the reality is that these are conversations that I don't think a lot of people are having early on with their financial advisors. They're talking more about how to invest, right, and grow their money. And it's a different type of conversation that we're having planning for retirement.
Right, and listen, we've done that for a long time. It was simple financial planning. Okay, this is where you're at, how much income you need, now we'll manage the money. The financial planning world has changed. For the best, for the good. Even though I've probably been around almost 40 years, I love learning new things that I like. If they don't make sense, I'm not going to do it. I like what is going on. I like how to do this. The way we use the younger people that are doing this, they're getting the CFPs and all this stuff while they're learning this, they're doing the financial plans. I mean, we're all talking to the clients, but they're the ones plugging in, and they're the ones putting the plans together. And then we all sit down as a team to go ahead and analyze it and what's the best way to get the client their objectives of what they want. We give a page, we summarize what the client's needs are, we summarize what their risk tolerance is. Then we give solutions to the whole thing on how they get there. The biggest thing is income. How do they fix the income gap? If they have one, how do they create their wealth that they did? How do they start getting income off of that on a monthly basis to add to their Social Security, to add to their pension so they can do what they want? And as long as they stay within the plan, everyone's successful. Whether the markets go up or down, don't matter.
When you talk about the income gap, how much of that can be solved by creating a budget, or at least determining a budget?
Well, if you're spending more than you have, what do you have to do? You have to cut back, right? Or make more money. Those are your two ways. Well, if you're going into income, but you're still working, the one thing that you got to look at, like on annuities, is that they will, with an income rider, they can resolve your income gap and give you income for life, okay? Income for life, because there's certain amounts, but you have to back into that, you know what I mean? You want $80-some-odd thousand a year for life? Probably got to put $1 million in. That's what, 8.5% or something like that. But that doesn't mean you're getting $1 million back. Mm-hmm. See, the biggest problem I have with annuities is that people they sell them. They don't educate people on them. There's good and bad. And the good is that they can give you a guaranteed check for life. That's great. And it's going to be a higher income that you can put it in and get. And if that's what you're looking for, it doesn't matter. If you spend that, if you put in $1 million, you spend $3 million, there's nothing left in there, it doesn't matter. But you got that $85,000 a year to you. There's other things to do too, and that's what we're going to talk about in the last segment, but you need to know what it is. If you're spending more than you're getting, you're going into your capital. If you're going into your capital, you better have a lot of capital, because once that goes down, you can't get the same amount of income off of it.
So when they pick up the phone, give you a call, how do we best prepare for a meeting with you?
We actually will communicate with them on the things that we need, okay? So we'll tell them that, all the list of stuff we need, from their W-2s to their tax returns to all the things that that we need to put the financial plan together, okay? And they usually bring that stuff in the important papers, but they give us the numbers so we can start. They don't email us the important stuff. And then once we have it, then we start implementing it. Then they bring everything in, we fill in everything, and then it's a process. It's a 3, 4, 5 meeting process.
Come to your office, have a cup of coffee, have a conversation, and start this process of finding out, are you on the road that you want to be on? And if not, let's figure out how to get there.
It's not hard.
See,
What's hard is waiting. The longer you wait, the harder it is to put you on the right path.
I'll tell you something. It's not hard, but what the problem is that most people are not educated in this area like you are, and this is why we need you, because this is not part of our formalized education. We get out of school, we're handed a 401k, maybe if we're lucky, and we're off to the races, and then we're left with all of these decisions. And like you said, there are all these tools in our toolbox now that our parents didn't have, and our grandparents. It's not our grandparents' retirement anymore.
I'll leave you in on a secret. The education I learned in school about this didn't help me one bit. It's real life, understanding, common sense, putting things together. But you know what's more important than anything? It's not about me. It's not about me selling you a product so I can have money to feed my family. It's about me developing a relationship with you for what you need and understanding the right things for you, so you stick around with us for 10, 15, 20 years so we can get the advisory fee, which is what we're worth, to be able to help you get to the points that you need to be.
And this is complimentary for the viewers of this show for taking the time to sit here and listen and learn, get educated about your road to retirement. That number is 844-544-4909. We'll go to a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back to jab more about retirement and planning your best.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Hello and welcome back to Money Matters. I'm Sarah Peterson here with Dean Greenberg of Greenberg Financial Group. And before break, we were talking about the income gap and how to fill it, and how do I even get income in retirement?
Remember, we plan for retirement to have income. And at the end of the day, we plan to have accumulation that turns into income. So how do we create income? Okay? Whether it's a gap or not, you got to create income. So if you have an income gap, the best way I feel to do it is to be able to use an annuity with an income rider. And I know annuities have bad connotations, but this is one that I think is great. Because you put it in and say you don't need it for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, we can tell you what you're going to be guaranteed in that income. I call it funny money on that side. It's not about growth. If you put in $200,000, I'm not saying that if it goes to $350,000 for your income side, that's what it's going to be worth. I'm saying at $350,000, it's going to create you $2,000 a month, whatever it's going to be. But we can show you what the income, because of whatever the contract is. That's how you fill the income gap without any risk, okay? But once you're at that point and you don't need that stuff because you already have the wealth, how do you create income? Well, you got dividends from stocks, you got bonds that are giving you interest, but if you just throw that at the wall, what do you got? The same thing you started with, no plan. So you got to have a plan, and that's what's called management of it. What kind of bonds do you want? And we put together, for a lot of people, what's called a T-annuity, a T-annuity,
okay.
a T-annuity. No one's ever heard of it. But the bottom line is, what is it? It's a treasury ladder, government bond treasury ladder with annuity at the end. Why? Because the treasuries right now are paying over 4%. So you do a 1 year, a 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, if you want to go that far. And then you do a 5 year or 7 year annuity. Why? Because if interest rates go up, you're going to continue to roll your bond ladder up to higher interest rates. But there's probably a good chance in the next 5 years they're going to go down. So if interest rates go down, you're not going to be able to get as much interest on the treasuries, but what will the annuity do? The annuity will go up. The annuity will go up because it'll be based on the S&P or something else like that. But the beauty of the annuity, you can't lose any money. So if the markets go down, because interest rates are high, you're going to be able to get higher interest. But the other side of it is, if they don't go the other way, you're going to make appreciation on the other side. Not, 4, 6, 7, who knows what it's going to be. That's not guaranteed. But that's why you offset that if interest rates go down. And then in 5, 6, 7 years, you got to reevaluate where you are and you make another plan.
The bond market's been really volatile this year, though. This has not been what I would consider to be predictable.
No, it's not. But you can lock in rates. That's the nice thing. The other part of it is you can go out and do what it's called a MIGA, multi-year guaranteed annuity. I've been using this a lot for people that have money in CDs or just cash in the bank. Why? I can get over 5% right now. I can get it tax deferred for them, and then we don't have to worry about it for 5 years. What better is that? You know what I'm saying? So that's why we're using that. The other thing is if someone needs income right away, say they need, $20,000, $2,000 a month, right? So you need about $500,000 so you can still get some growth and be able to take it. So we do what we call our SIM plan, strategic income model. I developed this in 2004 after the 2001 crisis. I put this model together, and basically what we do is we will put money into bonds for 1, 2, and 3 years. So even if the growth part goes down, you have 3 years for that to come back. And then you obviously get dividends, you get interest, you get stuff, and it's a protector. You're not going to make a ton of money if the market goes up, but you're still going to make money on the growth. But you're not going to get killed if the market goes down, and you don't have to worry about it because for the next 3, 4 years, you got dividends and interest coming in and paying you enough money.
And as we talked about on previous shows and earlier, we want to take the risk off going towards retirement. So, we're not usually as heavily invested in markets. We have other avenues we can use to create income.
Absolutely. And not every idea is great. It could be used for everybody. But there's enough income ideas that you can do today with interest stuff that people didn't do before. What most people are doing is just staying in these long-term ETFs that they got crushed on as interest rates went up. Interest rates aren't coming down anytime soon. They will come down eventually, but then we're going to have a problem in the economy. And if they have to come down to the economy, what are you going to lose on the other side? So if you're not looking at it from an intelligent point of view, or have someone that's on top of it, it's not going to help. If you're not going, a lot of people say they can do it on their own until the market's going down. Then they all come see you. And then here's the problem. They come see you, and then the market's kind of, oh, I'm okay now. The whole idea is when the markets are up is when you should see us. When the markets are down, you should see a financial advisor. But it's not for just investing. It's also about, are you on track to do what you want to do? Sure, if you're sitting there with $10, $20 million, you probably got it down and you did it, but you probably still have to understand, is your estate plan right? That's why we have an estate planner in our office, okay? Got an accountant in our office. Because I don't know all those tax codes. I don't know all those estate things, but I know the plan, and then I'm going to get the expert to help me on what we need.
And people, like myself who have bigger families, we have so many other considerations. It's not just like, what I want to do when I retire. It's what my children need of me. And, of the 4 kids, one of them is probably going to need some help. So maybe planning for that.
Right.
It's important. Why are you laughing at me? Well, I'm not going to say which one at this moment in time. But I think everybody's got different needs, and that's why it's so incredible that the plan is so individualized. You can't look at somebody who's sitting in the audience right now and tell them what you need to do with your money. That's why you need to give us a call, because everybody's situation is different. Everybody's situation is unique. 2 people with the exact same amount of money are not going to go in the same direction with it.
It's all about lifestyle. But I'm going to tell you this. It's not that different, and evidence has proved it, that the markets go up, markets go down. It's not that different, and evidence proves it, that when you retire, after the first couple of years, you're going to spend the most money over the next 10 to 12 years than you are on the following 10 to 12 years.
We call it the go-go years and the no-go years.
Well, as you get older, people know that in their 80s and stuff, their interests aren't that much. You don't want to do as much. You do some things, and it depends what you want to do. And I'm not saying everybody. The people, take world cruises, but they've got the money to do it. I'm talking about the person, the most common type of people.
We always run out of time. Just about everything is getting good, but I just want to make sure that everybody has that phone number, 844-544-4909. Give Dean a call. This is a chance to find out, are you on the right road to retirement? If you're not, get off, and let's get on the right road together. This is complimentary, and I can't think of any reason why not.
Because they're scared, and they need to get over that.
But we're not going to let fear rule our decisions anymore. We're going to, because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. The sun is shining now, and now is the time to find out what do we need to do to get where we want to go.
I promise, if you're not ready to be able to retire and you can't be where there is, we're not going to make fun of you. We're going to show you what you can do if you want to do it now, and we'll show you the path that it takes to get to where you want to be.
And if anything, it is an education, and I can't think of anything else that gives me peace of mind in such a crazy world. Thank you so much always for making us laugh and giving us an education on how to get where we want to go. It's your blood, sweat, and tears. You've earned the right to do what you want to do with your retirement. So let's go there together on the road to retirement. That phone number again is 844-544-4909, or scan that QR code. Thank you so much for taking the time, and we hope you'll join us the next time on your road to retirement. See you soon.